Sports is supposed to be about strength, speed, and glory. But what happens when the spotlight exposes secrets that were never meant to be seen? Behind the medals, the trophies, and the perfect smiles, athletes carry stories that can shock the world more than any victory on the field. In 2025, the pressure to be flawless is greater than ever. And for LGBTQ+ athletes, the cost of honesty can still be everything. From Olympic divers whose friendships sparked endless rumors, to figure skaters who turned scandal into stardom, to runners whose private lives became bigger headlines than their records, these stars prove that the game doesn't end when the competition is over. The true drama plays out in the shadows, where silence, speculation, and shocking revelations collide. You're watching Rainbow Spotlight, the channel that uncovers the LGBTQ+ stories sports and Hollywood don't want you to hear. Other creators beg for your subscription right away. We won't. Stick around until the end and only hit subscribe if we've earned it. Before we dive in, tell us in the comments, where are you watching from? We love seeing how global this community really is. Jack Laffer has always been known as the golden boy of British diving. With his baby face, bright smile, and Olympic medals shining around his neck, he looked like the perfect image of innocence and success. But in sports, perfection is never the whole story. Behind Jack's flawless dives and public victories lies a series of whispers, rumors, and moments that fans have never stopped dissecting. And in 2025, those whispers still haunt him. Jack's rise to fame was meteoric. At just 21, he won Olympic gold in Rio 2016 alongside Chris Mears, instantly becoming a national hero. Cameras loved him, not just for his athletic talent, but for his looks. His soft features and easy charm made him a fan favorite, especially among young audiences who saw in him the perfect crush. But that attention also came with a darker side. Fans noticed his close bond with male teammates, his playful moments that sometimes blurred into intimacy, and his reluctance to show much about his dating life. Soon, forums and gossip blogs began asking the same question. Was Jack Laffer hiding something? The rumors took on a life of their own. Social media lit up with gifs of him hugging Chris Mears, laughing a little too close with Matty Lee, or exchanging glances that fans swore carried a deeper meaning. To outsiders, it was harmless speculation. To Jack, it became an inescapable narrative. He was no longer just Britain's diving champion. He was the subject of endless queer-coded fan edits and conspiracy threads. How did Jack respond? With silence. He never denied. He never confirmed. He continued to focus on his sport, brushing off personal questions with humor or polite avoidance. That silence became part of the drama. For some fans, it was a sign of dignity, proof that he refused to play into the media circus. For others, it was frustrating. Why not just set the record straight? His quietness, ironically, made the rumors grow louder. The fan debate split down the middle. Supporters argued that Jack deserved his privacy, that not every hug or smile needed to be dissected. Critics insisted that as a public figure, his silence only fueled speculation and made it seem like there was something to hide. And then there were those who believed his closeness with teammates was genuine romance, reading between the lines of every photo and interview. Jack Laffer became less of an athlete and more of a puzzle the world was desperate to solve. What makes his story shocking isn't proof of a hidden truth, it's how much the rumors overshadowed his achievements. Even as he continued to compete, win medals, and inspire a new generation of divers, his personal life remained the headline. In 2025, that tension still defines him. Jack Laffer's the reminder that in sports, silence is never just silence. It's a statement, one that can spark more drama than words ever could. So what do you think? Did Jack Laffer's silence protect him, or did it become the biggest secret of all? Drop a 1 in the comments if you believe his mystery is louder than any medal. Is louder Tom Daley has always been more than just an Olympic diver. With his perfect smile, sculpted physique, and charisma that could light up an arena, he was groomed to be Britain's golden boy from the moment he stepped onto the world stage. But behind the flawless dives and polished interviews was a secret that almost cost him everything. For years, Tom carried the weight of rumors, speculation, and the crushing pressure to appear perfect, all while hiding the truth about who he was. Tom's journey began young. He was barely a teenager when he was thrust into the global spotlight as a diving prodigy. The media adored him. Fans celebrated his talent, but also fixated on his looks. Almost immediately, whispers started. Was Tom Daley gay? In the early 2000s, those kinds of questions were dangerous for an athlete whose career depended on endorsements, media deals, and public perception. Tom became the subject of relentless gossip, with tabloids speculating about his friendships, his private life, and every person he was photographed with. For a boy barely out of school, it was suffocating. For years, Tom denied nothing, but he also confirmed nothing. He focused on his sport, dodging invasive questions and smiling through interviews that danced around his personal life. But silence can only last so long. In 2013, Tom shocked the world by releasing a simple YouTube video. Of course, I still fancy girls, but I've met someone, and that someone is a guy. In that moment, the golden boy shattered the illusion and risked everything. The reaction was explosive. Fans flooded him with love, calling him brave and inspirational. But critics were vicious. Some tabloids accused him of lying to female fans. Sponsors hesitated, worried about backlash. And in the world of sports, where masculinity is often rigidly defined, Tom's confession was seen as risky, an Olympic champion who dared to be gay. For weeks, his personal life overshadowed his medals. But Tom refused to let the narrative control him. He leaned into authenticity, openly discussing his relationship with screenwriter Dustin Lance Black, and later their marriage and family. He transformed from an athlete defined by rumors into a role model celebrated for his honesty. Still, the drama never fully went away. Each time he competed, headlines debated whether he had distracted himself with personal life. Each time he posted online, trolls accused him of oversharing. The truth was simple. Even after coming out, Tom's story remained controversial because he challenged the very expectations that sports had built around him. So what about you? Do you think Tom Daley's confession cost him more than it gave, or did it prove that courage is the ultimate gold medal? Drop a 2 in the comments if his bravery still inspires you today. Matty Lee might have stepped into the spotlight as Tom Daley's partner on the diving board, but over the years he's become a star in his own right. With his boy-next-door charm, sharp physique, and a smile that melts camera lenses, Matty was supposed to be the safe, wholesome face of British diving. Instead, he found himself caught in a storm of whispers, speculation, and rumors that made his career about far more than just medals. Matty's big moment came at the Tokyo 2020 Olympics, where he and Tom Daley won gold together in synchronized diving. Their chemistry, both in the pool and in interviews, was undeniable. Fans around the world watched the way they supported each other, laughed together, and seemed inseparable. Very quickly, social media erupted with theories. Were Matty and Tom just teammates, or was there something more? Edits, fan fiction, and entire online communities sprang up, dissecting every glance, every hug, every smile. What made things more complicated was Matty's own presence online. He was active on Instagram and TikTok, often posting shirtless gym shots, playful videos, and behind-the-scenes moments that blurred the line between athlete and celebrity. Fans noticed how comfortable he was being close with male friends and how little he revealed about his romantic life. In a world obsessed with labels, Matty's silence about his sexuality became its own drama. How did he handle it? Like a true media-trained athlete, with humor and avoidance. In interviews, when asked about his bond with Tom, he laughed it off. When pressed about dating, he dodged with charm. He never got angry, but he also never gave fans the clarity they craved. And in an age where silence often feels like a statement, that silence made the rumors grow even louder. Supporters saw Matty as a symbol of new masculinity, comfortable in his skin, unbothered by speculation, and refusing to play the game of forced labels. Critics, however, accused him of using queer-coded behavior to build a following while avoiding the risks of fully coming out. Some fans genuinely believed he was queer but afraid of the spotlight, while others insisted he was simply straight and tired of being asked. Either way, Matty Lee had become a lightning rod for debate far beyond the world of diving. The truth may never be known, but the impact is undeniable. Matty's presence has challenged the idea that athletes must fit into rigid boxes of straight or gay, masculine or feminine. His closeness with Tom Daley, his openness on social media, and his refusal to give simple answers all add up to something more powerful. He keeps people talking. And in today's media-driven world, conversation is currency. So what about you? Do you think Matty Lee is hiding something? Or is the real secret that he refuses to let labels define him? Drop a 3 in the comments if his silence makes you more curious than ever. Adam Rippon isn't just an athlete. He's a headline. With his razor-sharp wit, unapologetic attitude, and dazzling performances on the ice, Adam transformed from Olympic figure skater into one of the most outspoken queer icons in sports. But behind the glitter and the sass lies a story filled with drama, controversy, and secrets that shocked the world long before he chose to reveal them. Adam's rise wasn't easy. For years, he skated in relative obscurity, a talented athlete who couldn't quite break through to the highest levels. Off the ice, he carried the same secret that haunted so many athletes before him. He was gay in a world that demanded silence. Figure skating might seem glamorous, but the industry was dominated by outdated stereotypes and quiet discrimination. To come out, Adam knew, would risk endorsements, opportunities, and even judges' biases. For a long time, he chose survival over authenticity. But everything changed in 2015 when Adam decided to live openly. He didn't do it in a press release. He did it boldly, declaring his truth in interviews and refusing to apologize for it. By the time he made it to the 2018 Winter Olympics, he was no longer just Adam Rippon the skater. He was Adam Rippon the trailblazer, the first openly gay American man to compete at the Winter Games. That visibility was revolutionary, but it came with firestorms of controversy. When Adam clashed with the Trump administration over anti-LGBTQ policies, he instantly became a polarizing figure. Supporters hailed him as a hero, a voice for a silenced community. Critics labeled him too political and accused him of overshadowing sports with identity. And then came the headlines about his attitude, interviews where he delivered savage one-liners, unapologetically embracing his flamboyance, even when traditionalists rolled their eyes. To some, it was refreshing. To others, it was scandal. The debate surrounding Adam only grew louder after the Olympics. He joined Dancing with the Stars, appeared on talk shows, and leaned into his celebrity persona. Was he exploiting his sexuality for fame, or was he finally being rewarded for a lifetime of authenticity? Fans were split, but one thing was certain. Adam Rippon was no longer just an athlete. He was a brand, a symbol, a drama magnet who thrived on turning secrets into punchlines. What makes Adam's story shocking isn't that he's gay. It's how unapologetically he weaponized honesty in a world that expected shame. He risked endorsements. He risked backlash. He risked the wrath of conservative America. And yet, in risking everything, he gained more than medals ever could: freedom, power, and a platform that could change lives. So what about you? Do you think Adam Rippon's boldness is reckless, or is it the kind of courage sports desperately needs? Drop a 4 in the comments if his story inspires you to believe that authenticity is always worth the risk. Nick Symmonds was never the type of athlete to play it safe. On the track, he was bold, outspoken, and fiercely competitive. Off the track, he was even more unpredictable. A runner who wasn't afraid to call out governing bodies, challenge outdated traditions, and push boundaries that most athletes wouldn't dare touch. But with that boldness came drama, and over the years, Nick's name has been linked not just to medals and records, but to whispers, rumors, and secrets that left fans questioning what he was really hiding. As one of America's top middle-distance runners, Symmonds made his mark in the 800 meters. But unlike many of his peers, he refused to stick to the script. He openly criticized the International Olympic Committee, sparred with USATF over sponsorship rules, and even auctioned off space on his body for temporary tattoos to protest restrictions. This rebellious streak earned him headlines and enemies. Fans admired his courage, but officials branded him a troublemaker. And then there were the rumors, the ones that had nothing to do with his speed. Nick's good looks and charismatic personality made him a fan favorite, but they also made him a target for speculation. Was his playful persona masking something deeper? His close friendships with male athletes, his outspoken support for LGBTQ+ rights, and his refusal to conform to the macho stereotype of track and field all fueled gossip. Online forums buzzed with theories, dissecting everything from his interviews to his social media posts. Some insisted he was queer but afraid to say it. Others dismissed the speculation as fans reading too much into his charm. How did Nick handle it? True to form, with defiance. He never directly addressed the rumors, but he also never distanced himself from the LGBTQ+ community. Instead, he leaned into his reputation as a provocateur. He used interviews to challenge toxic masculinity in sports, spoke about body image issues that male athletes face, and positioned himself as someone who didn't fit into the neat categories that track fans expected. His silence on his personal life wasn't weakness, it was strategy. The debate among fans has never really died down. Supporters praise him as an ally, someone who used his platform to open doors without needing to define himself. Critics accuse him of playing coy, benefiting from queer-coded attention while avoiding the risks of coming out. And then there are those who insist his refusal to clarify is the very thing that keeps him relevant. In the end, Nick Symmonds became more than just a runner. He became a riddle, one that sports fans still argue about today. So what do you think? Did Nick Symmonds' shocking secrets define his career, or did his refusal to play by the rules make him unforgettable? Drop a 5 in the comments if his story still has you questioning the truth. Five athletes, 5 shocking stories, and 5 reminders that in sports the biggest battles aren't always won on the field. They're fought in silence, in secrets, and in the courage to be authentic. From Jack Laffer's quiet mystery to Tom Daley's brave confession, from Matty Lee's unanswered questions to Adam Rippon's unapologetic boldness and Nick Symmonds' rebellious silence, each of them proved that the real drama of sports isn't just about medals. It's about identity, risk, and the price of truth. What their stories reveal is simple. Being yourself in a world built on image is the riskiest game of all. Some of these athletes risked careers. Others risked reputation, and all of them forced us to ask, do we celebrate authenticity or do we punish it? You've been watching Rainbow Spotlight, the channel that uncovers the LGBTQ plus stories that sports and Hollywood don't want you to hear. Other creators beg you to subscribe right at the start. We're not like them. If this video made you think, if it made you see these athletes differently, then and only then, hit subscribe and turn on the bell. Now it's your turn. Whose secret shocked you the most? Drop your thoughts in the comments and tell us, is silence a shield or is it the biggest scandal of all?